Hello everybody, this is Rob, and this is Exciting, I Know. In Exciting, I Know, we attempt to pique your curiosity by providing you with small tidbits of knowledge and information that is just enough to get you more curious for yourself and learn more, and to learn more for yourself on your own time. The point of this podcast is we go on Wikipedia and we read random articles for about 15 minutes or so, just to get you curious enough, and whether or not we are done with an article at the end of the 15 minutes, we will stop reading. And if you want to know the rest of the article, then you will have to go and look it up yourself. So, I am going to promise you a few rules, however. I am going to keep the podcast at least under PG-13. I will most likely butcher all of the names. I will most likely not read sidebars unless they contain interesting or pertinent information. If an article takes less time than 15 minutes to read, then we will go on to a new article and read that one until our 15 minutes are up. Alright, so without further ado, let us see what is in today's podcast. Oh boy, it's a good one. I need to start my timer. Hang on. I am already going to butcher this 100 times over. Alright, and starting our starting our timer now. Schmeidloot, also Schmeidlite. Wonderful. Are a branch of the Hutterites that emerged in 1859. It is divided into two subgroups. Photo of them singing. More photos of the group. The founder of the Schmeidloot, Michael Waldner, 1834 to 1889, was a blacksmith and therefore called Schmeid Michael, example Smith Michael, from Waldner's nickname, the Schmeidloot, meaning Smith people, took their name. Russian Empire. In 1857, some Hutterites, under the leadership of George Waldner, tried to re-establish community of goods in Hutterdorf, Ukraine, then part of the Russian Empire. After having abandoned his custom in 1819, this custom in 1819 in Radyshev, but this first attempt failed. In 1859, Michael Waldner and Jacob Hofer successfully re-established a community of goods. America. The followers of Michael Waldner, altogether 113 people, left their homes in Ukraine in June 1874 to settle at Bon Homme Hutterite colony in South Dakota, the mother colony of the Schmid. During their journey, 36 children died of an epidemic of dysentery in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Schmid flourished in their new home in South Dakota, and in 1878 a second trip colony in Yankton, South Dakota was formed. An attempt to relocate the second colony to Tidioute, Pennsylvania soon failed, and the colony returned to South Dakota. Shortly after World War II, two Hutterite conscientious objectors, Joseph and Michael Hoffer, died in an American prison. This and the growing anti-German sentiment caused the immigration of the Schmid to Manitoba, Canada in the following years. 5 Schmid colonies, Milton, Maxwell, Rosedale, Huron, and James Valley, left the United States. Only Bon Homme colony remained. In the 1930s, Schmid started again to form new colonies in South and North Dakota, thus returning to the United States. In 1950, there were 20 Schmid colonies in Manitoba, 15 in South Dakota, and 1 in North Dakota. In 1973, there were 91 Schmid colonies in Manitoba, South and North Dakota. In 1980, the Schmid started their first colony in Minnesota. More were to follow in the state in the next decades. Division. In 1992, the Schmid started to divide into 2 subgroups over several questions like certain management procedures of the Klein-Sasser group, financial ventures, and a lawsuit over patent rights with another Hutterite. The relation of the Ruderhoff communities and higher education were further issues. Elder Jacob Klein-Sasser of the Crystal Spring Colony in Manitoba condoned all these things, while the conservative group opposed them. It took some time before separation was achieved. The followers of Klein-Sasser took the name Hutterian Brethren, but they are also called Schmidlut 1 or Group 1. They are nicknamed Oilers. The more traditional Schmid branch took the name Committee Hutterites. They are called Schmidlut 2nd or Group 2. They are nicknamed Gibbs. Around the year 2010, there were 120 colonies of the more conservative Committee Hutterites, whereas there were some 60 colonies of the Hutterian Brethren branch that embraces many customs of the modern world. There were also independent Hutterite colonies of Schmid origin, for example, the Elmendorf Christian Community. Schmid today are more progressive branch of the Hutterites, especially the Hutterian Brethren, who were followers of Elder Jacob Klein-Sasser. The women of the Schmid wear a Eichel headscarf without or with very small polka dots, whereas der have smaller polka dots, and large polka dots that cover large amount of pattern of the fabric. Next article. Therionema tuberculata. Is a centipede species in the family Scutigeridae. It is native to China. Next article. Sergei Punko, Sergei Punko, also spelled Sergei, is a formerly Bela, Belarusian, now Russian, Paralympic swimmer. He was born with a progressive eye disease but had normal sight as a child. Excuse me. He started swimming at age 10 and competed nationally and internationally in able-bodied competition until he was 21. By that time, he had less than 5% vision, classified as 12. He began swimming in disability meets in 2002. He quickly broke long-standing world records and was named World Disabled Swimmer of the Year in 2003. Up to 2012 Paralympic Games, he has won 4 gold, 6 silver, and 3 bronze medals. At the 2012 Summer Paralympics, he won the gold and silver medals for Russia. In February 2013, Punko held S12 long course world records in 200, 400, and 800 meter freestyle and 200 meter butterfly events. Next article. Castle Book 2. Castle Book 2 is a universal role-playing game supplement published by Judges Guild in 1981. Following the release of Castle Book 1 in 1978, Judges Guild followed up in 1979 with Castle Book 2, a 64-page softcover book written by Bob Bledsaw. The book was published in several editions from 1979 to 1981. Early editions have black and white color, later editions a full color cover. Contents: The book is a game master's aid that contains 50 maps of castles and forts drawn on hex sheets for use in wilderness encounters or campaign design. It also contains tables for random generation of castle names. The material is not designed for a specific game system, allowing the game master to adapt the material to any fantasy role-playing game. In the May 1998 edition of Dragon issue number 133, Ken Ralston said, "There are no details for the functions or contents of the individual buildings, but it's nice to have the layouts when whipping up an adventure setting on a short notice." Next article. Hayward, Wisconsin. Hayward is a city in Sawyer County, Wisconsin, United States, next to the Namkagon River. The population was 2,318 at the 2010 census. It is the county seat of Sawyer County. The city is surrounded by the town of Hayward. History. Hayward was named for Anthony Judson Hayward, a lumberman who located the site for building a sawmill around which the town grew. Logging began in late 1850s. Loggers came from Cortland County, New York, Carroll County, New Hampshire, Orange County, Vermont, down east Maine, and what is now Washington County, Maine, and Hancock County, Maine. These were Yankee migrants, that is to say, they were descended from the English Puritans who had settled in New England during the 1600s. They were mostly members of the Congregational Church. In the 1890s, immigrants came from a variety of countries such as Germany, Norway, Poland, Italy, Ireland, Czechoslovakia, and Sweden. Hayward is located at 46036 North, 912850 West. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 3.36 square miles, 8.70 kilometers, of which 3.13 square miles, 8.11 kilometers is land, and 0.23 square miles, 0.60 kilometers is water. Hayward is located 71 miles southeast of Superior, 27 miles northeast of Spooner and 107 miles north of Eau Claire and 57 miles southwest of Ashland. 2010 Census Demographics. As of the census of 2010, there were 2,318 people, 1,048 households, and 550 families residing in the city. The population density was 740.6 inhabitants per square miles, 285.9 kilometers. There were 1,227 housing units at an average density of 392 per square mile, 141.4 kilometers squared. The racial makeup of the city was 83.3% white, 0.4% African American, 11.8% Native American, 0.9% Asian, 0.3% from other races, and 3.2% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 2.5% of the population. There were 1,048 households, of which 27.6% had children under the age of 18 and living with them, 32.5% were married couples living together, 14% had a female household or with no husband present, 5.9% had a male householder with no wife present, and 47.5% were non-families. 41.7% of all households were made up of individuals, and 20% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.10, and the average family size was 2.80. The median age in the city was 38.8 years. 23.7% of the residents were under the age of 18. 18.5% were between the ages of 18 and 24. 23.6% was from 25 to 44. 23.5% were from 45 to 64. And 20.8% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 47.5% male and 52.5% female. 2000 census. As of the census of 2000, there were 2,129 people, 960 households, 530 families residing in the city. The population density was 717.2 people per square mile, 276.8 kilometers squared. There were 1,064 housing units at an average density of 358.4 per square mile. 138.3 kilometers squared. The racial makeup of the city was 89.62% white, 0.14% black or African American, 8.0 stop. And that will be all for today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you can help out the podcast by following me on Twitter at Rob Clemens Jr., capital R, capital C, capital J on Twitter, and Robert Clemens Jr. on Instagram. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.